welcome back to Regular Guitars, the channel that reviews guitars you can actually afford. Today is another very exciting guitar. This is a Yamaha Revstar. It's the P90 edition, and we're going to review it next. All right, so the Revstar RS502T. That is the first edition of the Revstar. The Revstar came out in 2015, and this was in the first iteration. There's a newer model that's come out recently. Basically, the Revstar is something Yamaha has worked on since 2013. Apparently, they engaged this design company and met with hundreds of guitarists to find out what they were looking for in guitars, what they looked for in their last guitar, what they want in their next guitar. And through all that research, they came up with the Revstar. And it's a really cool guitar. It's a really high quality guitar. And I wonder why it's not more popular. And I think the thing is, it's a Yamaha. And Yamaha has such a diverse array of products that they produce. You can buy a guitar, you can buy a piano, you can buy a saxophone, you can buy an outboard boat motor, and you can buy a motorcycle, and you can buy a stereo system. There's so much that Yamaha makes. I think it kind of reduces the focus on any particular product of theirs. However, I think across the whole array of products, they're pretty highly regarded and they're pretty good. I've heard Yamaha pianos. I've heard different Yamaha guitars. I have this one. I've got an FG 180 acoustic guitar. It's a beautiful guitar. Elliott Smith played that. I've got a Yamaha Pacifica that I'm going to be doing some work on in an upcoming video. That's a really nice guitar. It's a cheap entry-level guitar, but it's pretty high quality. There's a lot of different things that Yamaha makes. I mean, their motorcycles are getting more and more popular as the vintage cafe racer style comes back into popularity. They do a lot, and I think that might have something to do with why their guitars aren't more popular. You know, there's not a lot of iconic Yamaha players when you look through, the history of guitar gods. A couple of the companies, I just mentioned Elliott Smith. Phil X, who's a favorite of mine, played the SG style. I think he actually had a custom version, a signature version. But beyond that, Yamaha, Chris Buck, he's a YouTuber who is an amazing guitarist, and I think Revstar he has a signature line there. But it's a little bit off the radar. And as I unpacked this and I'm looking at it and I'm marveling at the quality, and it really is a nice guitar. I think there's a bit of an opportunity for someone to make their own way on this guitar because it doesn't have the baggage, if you will, that a Strat comes with. When I play my Strat, even though it's subconscious, I'm thinking about Jimi Hendrix. I'm thinking of Stevie Ray Vaughan. I'm thinking of all the classic players. When I pick up a Les Paul or a Gibson, I'm thinking of Jimmy Page. It's just the way it goes. And these don't really have that. So you're almost a little bit more free to do what you will. In terms of the guitar, it's a 24 3/4 inch scale. It's a mahogany body, a 3-piece mahogany neck with a rosewood fingerboard. It's got 22 stainless jumbo frets and a tunematic bridge with this unique tailpiece. It's supposedly spring-loaded, although it doesn't move, at least for me. And it's just kind of got a cool look to it. Everything is very solid and feels very high quality. There's the cream binding that goes all the way around the body and the neck. The frets feel great. The tuning machines feel very smooth. There's no issue with the hardware, I'll tell you that. It's a player, and you can just pick it up and play it. It's got a 3-position pickup selector, and on the tone circuit, there's this thing called the dry circuit. So it's a push-pull on the tone, and it rolls off the low end to create a tighter sound. One thing I've noticed is that it really showcases the P90 pickups. There's other versions of this guitar, but these P90s are great. Very dynamic, really fun to play with. If you turn your tube amp up to like right on the edge of breakup, and then you can just touch the volume knob and get all the tones you want, from a very clean telly sound to a pretty thick, nasty humbucker sound. It is a very versatile guitar, and again, I think it'll surprise you to pick one up if you haven't played one before. So as far as Yamaha goes, reading up on their history, they were formed in 1887 and produced instruments from the beginning, focused on pianos, on horn instruments, on brass instruments, violins, a wide array of musical instruments. At the same time, they were diverse and creating motorcycles. And the interesting thing about this guitar is when the design team started researching to make this guitar, they kind of tuned into the cafe racer motorcycle scene. So I believe you can get all the finishes that these guitars were made in on a motorcycle. So if you want to match your guitar to your motorcycle, you have the opportunity. This one is called Bowden Green, and it's like a British racing green. It's beautiful. It looks black when you first see it. When I first saw it, I thought it was black, but when you get in the light, you could see that really nice green color. I really dig it. This is a polyurethane polished guitar. I got this one for a steal. So these are listed. Again, this is not the current production model. The current production model, they're around 1,000, 1,200. I think some a little bit more than that. I've seen these listed on eBay from 600 up. This is a perfect example. I got this for $375. So I definitely got this for a steal of a price. It's worth every bit of that, from my experience playing it. I'll be very interested to see how time treats these as time goes on. What's the view of these? I think the relative obscurity of the guitar right now is going to be overcome by the fact that it's such a nice guitar. And I think in the future, these will be really highly regarded, as the cream rises to the top, as they say. So Yamaha's advertising tagline for this guitar is just different enough. I think the idea there is that it has classical design elements, but it doesn't really look like anything that's already out there. So you've got the double cutaway. You can see it has kind of the SG type shape, but it's a little bit offset. So, it definitely evokes the feelings or evokes the design of other guitars that are already out there, but it's its own thing. And I think it looks really cool. It's got almost like an Art Deco or kind of mid-century modern look to it. Very comfortable to play. It's got a nice thick neck. I've heard them say, I've read that this was really based on like the 50s Les Paul, like the Sunburst Les Pauls. But the neck is thick, but not that thick. It's like a 13-inch radius. I haven't played an actual vintage Les Paul from that era, but I've played like the R8s, the R9s, and those necks are like baseball bats. I like them, but they are extremely thick. This isn't quite that thick, but it's a nice chunky neck. Usually I don't like the gloss finish on a neck. I like more of a satin or frankly just a raw wood, an oiled neck. But this is very comfortable. I'm conscious of the fact that this is a guitar review, and I don't want to just be positive about it, and I want to have fair criticism where warranted. I'm kind of struggling with this one, especially considering the price. The pickups are really good. I really can't stress that enough. And to me, if the pickups are really good and the feel is right, it's kind of hard to fault it. Now, when I'm playing the guitar, right, am I as inspired as I am when I pick up like the Jazzmaster I just reviewed or a good Strat? Something about those guitars really just vibe with me. And I can't fault this for that necessarily, but that's just what it is. I pick up one of those, a Fender usually, and I just feel a certain way about them. I used to have a Gibson Blues Hawk, and that had what they called Blues 90 pickups. They looked like P90s, but they weren't. And as far as I'm concerned, those were far inferior to these. Nowhere near the dynamic range or the definition. They didn't get the same snarl, and when you turn the volume down, they didn't clean up the way these do. So just based on that guitar I bought, frankly, because it looked really good, and I loved the fact that it was a Gibson, and it was when I was younger. The guitar never had a personality. I never connected with it. I haven't played this that long, so I've enjoyed playing it. I haven't really built that connection necessarily, but I'm really enjoying playing this, and I will play some more for you now.
It's time for the regular guitar shred score.
Well, alright, let's do this and get to the shred score for the Revstar. First up, styling. Just different enough is the tagline. This is a really good looking guitar. I'd say it looks classy, but not necessarily classic. I'm giving it a regular. In terms of uniqueness, it's not exactly popular, but it's not really unique. They're on sale. You can go buy one today. I'm starting to see them more, at least in America. They're getting more press. I'm giving it a regular. Cost. I'm going to focus on the retail cost of this one. At around $800 to $1,000, call it, it's a regular. Hardware. I am very impressed with the quality. Everything feels very solid, and dare I say, luxurious? Shred. Pickups. In my opinion, this is the star of the show. Great P90s on this guitar. Shred all day, and most of the night. Total value score of 35, which ties the Squier 40th Anniversary Jazzmaster at the top of the list. Moving on to playability. Regarding tone, well, with the pickups this spectacular, the tone follows suit. Particularly the dynamic range, I give it a shred. Neck feel, a really nice neck on this guitar. Nice and thick, give me that chunk, shred. Comfort. The weight and shape of this guitar is good, but I always struggle with my forearm area on these flat front guitars. If I were playing it for a whole gig, I would need to wear long sleeves or a wristband or something because I'm going to keep hitting it on that corner. It gets a regular. Versatility may be the ultimate gift of this guitar. From the ultra-dynamic, shape-shifting pickups to the lack of personality baggage this guitar comes with, it's as versatile as they come. It gets a shred. And last but not least, we come to Juju. The flip side of the versatility coin, at least for me, the difference between book smarts and street smarts, technical ability, and emotional connectivity. This guitar is the valedictorian, but seems like it could use a beer or two. It gets a very strong regular, which gives us a total score of 75. That puts it right in the middle of our 3-guitar lineup, a very solid guitar that I initially bought with a quick flip in my plans, but after playing it, I think I might just keep it around for a little while.
So there you go, the Yamaha Revstar with P90 pickups. It's a great guitar. Definitely one of the better guitars I've played in recent times. Highly recommend playing one if you get the chance. Please, if you watch this video, like, subscribe. I've got tons more guitars coming, a lot of ideas and things that we're going to do. You don't want to miss any of it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.